welcome to Academy. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. My name is Kelaghai Mentan, known as Kelaghai Mentan to most. I am from Cameroon, West Central Africa, and locally I'm from Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota, so I grew up. Shout out to Minnesota. And I have lived in New Jersey, West Virginia, and now I am currently in Seattle, Washington.
Nice. Seattle, Washington. It's a beautiful state. I love it here. I love the rain. So, Seattle, Washington. What brings you to Seattle, Washington?
I got a great job offer at the Boeing company. Fun fact is I'd always wanted to work for Boeing since I was in undergrad. And so it was quite the dream come true when I got an opportunity to work for my #1 company. So I work at the Boeing company currently as a liaison engineer for interiors of all programs.
Wow, liaison engineer. That sounds like a very complex and involved role. So what does a liaison engineer at Boeing company do?
So we serve basically as a liaison, meaning that we are the go-betweens for different groups. Meaning that if there's an issue when they're trying to build the interiors for any part of the airplane, such as the stow bins, the sidewalls, the ceilings as you see them, if there's any problem throughout the build process, it's our job to tell them how to fix it and bring that back to the drawing requirements. Sometimes that may involve us speaking to the design engineers, it may involve us speaking to the stress engineers. So we get involved anybody we need to make sure we get the product back on track and get it to the airplane on time.
So I think the question on my mind is, how did you become a liaison engineer? Was this always, you talked about wanting to work for the Boeing company as a kid. Was this always the role you wanted to play, or is this a stepping stone towards a different role? I mean, I'm just trying to understand, how you got here and where you headed to.
Wow, that's a great question. So my path, it's still to be determined in some ways, but I am definitely along the track that I've always wanted to be. Ever since I was little, I loved airplanes and I wanted to pilot planes. So I grew that love. I came here to the US when I was about 13 years old, and in school I was pretty good at the math and sciences, so my teachers had recommended to me that I should pursue engineering. So while in college I was in between mechanical and aerospace, but I chose aerospace because I love planes, and so what better way to learn more about planes than to study about it, so I chose the aerospace path. So when I graduated with my bachelor's from the University of Minnesota, I decided to go ahead and do my master's degree, and I did that in industrial engineering so that I can just learn a lot about the bigger picture, especially of putting things together, learning a factory setting. So in doing that, then I was able to get an opportunity to work for companies like the Toyota manufacturing company. So I worked on engines, which I love. That's my favorite part of a car, of an airplane. So I learned a lot there, and so coming into Boeing as a liaison engineer was a great segue for me. So now I am seeing everything that is done on the interior side, but with that we have to learn about the whole airplane, because if we want to know how this functions, we need to understand how other parts of it function. So ultimately I would still love to get my pilot's license on the side of this, but I see myself staying an engineer because I love to understand how things work and figure out why they work that way.
That was such an inspiring story. I would like to know what gets you excited in the morning, going to work and, being a liaison engineer and, being the connection between these different teams that you spoke about. What gets you excited about your role every day?
I would say primarily the ability to problem solve. So as an engineer, that is one thing we really take pride in, problem solving. So if we can figure out, do a root cause analysis, figure out what the issue is, and we are able to deliver products that are quality products and on time, that's a good day for me. So having the ability to impact such a task is what helps me get up every morning and go to job.
So as a young person, say I wanted to get into the role that you are at now, so is the path that you took, studying aerospace engineering and then doing a master's in industrial engineering, is that a typical path, or is that, sort of something you engineered your way through, like how would I get to your current role right now if I were to, be fresh into college?
Okay, so for a liaison engineer, especially at the Boeing company, I guess it all depends on what company you want to work for. At the Boeing company, having a degree in mechanical engineering, aerospace engineering, civil engineering, and electrical engineering are jobs that they really position you in a way to be a great liaison engineer. Not that all engineering doesn't, all engineering does, but this gives you the fundamentals because one, we deal with a lot of electrical, because you need to power up the airplane. Civil engineering, that has to do with the structure of the airplane. Aerospace, you're understanding why it needs to fly, how it flies, the center of gravity and such. And mechanical engineering is more overbroad. So having those down really comes in handy as a liaison engineer. But of course, as any type of engineer, you can work at the Boeing company. But as a liaison engineer, it's great if you have such a background. It just solidifies more what you can bring to the table and makes you more marketable.
That's awesome. I think a question I have on my mind is, studying aerospace engineering in school, was it fun for you? Did you like college? Was all that studying, did you have a good time, or was it really tough? Like, I want to, if I want to study this stuff, I want to know what I'm getting into.
Well, that's a great question. Studying aerospace, it was fun, but it was very difficult and very time-consuming. College at the same time too was very fun. I would say the one thing that kept me going is the fact that this was a passion. If you have the passion for it and you stay focused on it, you can achieve it. It's definitely not going to be easy. There are some days that I wanted to quit, truth be told, because I feel like I could have picked something easier to just get through and get out, shine and be outstanding. But I wanted to do something I was passionate about, and I know that it would really secure my future. So going into aerospace is not for everybody, but it's important that when you're picking a major, you pick something that you're passionate about and that you will put in effort into making a success. So I wanted to put in effort towards aerospace. Engineering as a whole is something that I was very passionate about, and I saw myself trying to help younger students learn about that later on in life. So I stayed with it. I still had fun in college. I still had a great experience. If you had wonderful friends and a great support system, some of my classmates and I, we had study groups because sometimes it was too difficult to do it on your own. So we had study groups, so we were able to help each other wherever help was needed to get through the tough times, the tough exams that we had. So overall, it was a great experience. It was a long experience because it actually took me 5 years instead of the regular 4 years to graduate. But overall, I was proud of what I accomplished, and my parents were proud of me, so it was a great accomplishment for me. But it was not easy, I would tell you that.
That's great advice. Thank you. So I think, in all of this, you sound very, very educated, smart, dedicated. You sound like you enjoy what you do. I have no doubt about that. But now I think that I want to know, what do you do for fun when you're not engineering and creating all this magic?
So engineering actually is fun for me, depending on where it is. So outside of work, I love to get involved with middle school students, teaching them about science and engineering. One of the groups I was really active in here in Seattle was the Red-tailed Hawks through the Black Pilots of America program, where we were showing students from ages like 11 till 19, we're teaching them about aviation. So we'll take them to different sites. So I got to visit places like the Joint Louis McCord base down here in Tacoma. I got to go to Whidbey Island. I met the captain of the air station over there. So that stuff is fun for me. I also love to hike. I love to go to movies. I like to read. And I like to go out with friends once in a while, to unwind. So I'm also a homebody when I need to be. But yeah, I love being active. Staying still is not my strong suit. So anything to get my hands involved somehow. And I love, love, love to volunteer. So you would see me at food banks, you would see me at Habitat for Humanity. Those are things, yeah, those are things that I love to stay involved with. Anything to help and grow our community and encourage one another to get better. That's what I love to do.
I just love your passion. I love the passion you have for giving back in life and being the best version of you. I see a lot of that. Um, so I think I have two more major questions, and the two are sort of related. The first is, if you were to, it seems like you're on the right track so far, and you've done you've played all the right cards. But every now and again, if you had to look back at your younger self, let's say going back 6, 7, 10 years ago, is there any advice, not necessarily a change, but is there something you might do differently that you would say, okay, give this a different shot this way?
Oh yeah, I'm very sure that a lot of people may say yes to that. I am very happy with where I am, like you said. I'm almost 4 years into my career, and I'm very happy and I'm very blessed and privileged to be where I am. I think if I had to go back 7 years and speak to my younger self, I would say to stay very, very informed in many aspects. For one, I was pursuing aerospace engineering, but at that time, since 9/11, things were a little bit more difficult if you were an immigrant. And so then I was a refugee, so I didn't know how that would impact my job search later on. And that is one of the reasons too why I went to grad school almost immediately, because I was still trying to get my documentation on the right track so that I can be able to apply for jobs. So once I changed my refugee status to permanent resident and now a citizen, it opened more doors for me, especially job-wise. So I would say that that would have helped a lot more if I had more of that information when I was younger. And two, I definitely didn't know how difficult it was, but I think I would have had even more of a focus and discipline. I was pretty disciplined with my schoolwork, but I think it could have been better. So that would be advice that I would give to my younger self, to be less distracted, but have fun. Have fun, but be less distracted by unimportant factors. But at the same time, I feel like that's part of growing up and that's part of life. So I wouldn't want to take away from any experience that I had, because it wouldn't make me who I am today. So everything that I went through made me who I am today. So.
And the other question I have is, you seem, again, going back, you seem like you're on the right track, and you're just fresh into your career, you're just, getting the head start, and where do you see yourself in 10 years, or 5, 10 years? Where are you headed, and where do you see, where do you see yourself?
Wow, that's a wonderful question. And I think it's a very important question as well, because it's, as the saying goes, those who fail to plan to fail, right? So 5 years from now, God willing, I will be in the process of putting together my family, or start having a family by then. On the personal side, career-wise, I hope that I would be more in a leadership position. Since I'm still fairly new, only 4 years into my career, I'm still new, getting a lot of experience and exposure. So within the next 5 years, I see myself in management or in leadership positions. So right now, it's about just setting up that foundation to enter into such a role. And then with that too, I see myself, I'm trying to really build and continue to work with children, especially girls, and encourage them to partake in the STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math, to keep encouraging them that, if I can do it, they absolutely can do it as well, and that there's so much opportunity for them. So within the next 5 years, that's what I see myself doing.
That's so inspiring. Makes me want to get up and do something. I have just one more question for you. How do you define success?
I define success as when you go about your day and you get home and you sit down, are you happy? Are you happy? If you are happy, you are successful. Also, when I look around me, I see my mom and my dad. They're very proud of me. I feel like I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but they're so proud of me. So that makes me happy, and I feel like I'm successful. I see my sisters emulating my example and exceeding my expectations and, you know, going beyond all that I've achieved. So that's success to me. When I see and I look at my friends and they're inspired by anything that I do, that's success to me. So yeah, hopefully, and you know, even having this type of opportunity to tell my story, that to me is success. So I find success in the little things that make me happy. My name on the billboard somewhere, that doesn't mean much to me as opposed to the value that I get out of the people that surround me.
Thank you so much, Kiki. This was very, you know, I'm interviewing you, but this was very inspiring, even for me, behind the camera. But thank you so much for coming to Academy. And do you have anything you would like to say that I have not asked?
Well, I would say as you pursue your career or even in your schoolwork, stay focused, stay disciplined, and do not give up. Do not lose heart, do not give up. Your dreams will always succeed, and your network equals your net worth. So meet as many people as you can, speak to many people, ask for advice from many people, because you never know. All you need is that one conversation that could take you to the next level. It happened for me, and I feel like it can happen from anyone. So just do your best in life. You only have one life to live, so make it count.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kiki, for coming to Academy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.